Hi, it's Lauren again. So today I'm going to be doing my offline reading reflection, looking at this edition of National Geographic magazine. Obviously not going to read the whole thing right now, but just looking at how I start reading it and what that process looks like. So obviously, when you look at this, the first thing you notice is the cover. So we have, this one's focusing on alcohol, and so there's a big picture of beer in the background, so it sort of gives you an idea of what's coming up. But then also looking at some of the other interesting ideas, interesting stories that will be in there. So how the world treats widows, so this one might be interesting. Science of Whoopi Goldberg sounds fascinating. The universe has eyes, so they're not really giving you much to go on here, but sort of drawing you in. So I open it up. First page obviously is an ad. Then we have the table of contents. So I could go through based on the table of contents and flip to a particular page, but that's not really how I usually read magazines, or, well, magazines generally, because between these different stories, there's often other smaller stories or images or photos that could be interesting as well. So I look at, oh, he's cute, and he's cute too. So I look at some of the things here saying, okay, that's the main story about alcohol. This one sounds interesting as well, but don't really pay too much attention there, so I keep going, I flip, more table of contents. Oh, well, this is elsewhere, so this is on their TV, National Geographic channel, books, things like that. Another ad, don't care. This one's from the editor. Now, sometimes I read these, sometimes I don't. But you can sort of see what the editor is focusing on for this edition, and they're focusing here on widows' rights. And then this is an ad, but it's also kind of interesting because it does provide some facts and information about this animal, so it's sort of a unique way of providing advertisement in National Geographic, because I feel like that's what people want to learn about. They want to learn about facts and nature in this magazine, and so they're playing well to that audience. Keep going. So this one is about, he made a documentary in Syria. No, not that interested. Don't care about buying a home because I am not there yet. Oh. And then, so we have something that's common in National Geographic magazines is they have a lot of photos, and so this one is a baby polar bear and her mom. It's cute. They have a little caption, but obviously the main feature of this page is the polar bear. And then they have some more imagery, interesting images. So this is interesting frost. That's really cool. So what's this about? It's in the Carpathian Mountains. So it doesn't really talk about why the frost forms like that, but it's still very interesting to see that. It sort of looks like the hair down the spine of an animal or of a dog or something that sort of goes either way. It's cool. Oh. And then another image. So here we are in Antarctica, obviously, with lots of penguins just chilling in a snowstorm. And there's the caption here. So what's black and white and bread all over? That's funny. Yeah, so this is them all meeting during a snowstorm. Oh, that's cute. That's cool. Keep going. That's a cool image, but I'm memorable food experiences. Oh, so this is from a reader. It's a really cool image. Raisin Bran, okay, whatever. Another image, and let's get that. United States of Corn. It's a really cool way of doing that image. Different types of corn. How we know. First, so this is actually interesting. It's the citrus families. So that one's weird looking. Buddha's hand, sort of the old school relative of the lemon. So here I'm focusing more on the image and understanding what's going on here than the actual text over here. If I wanted to, I could go over here, but for now I'm just sort of playing around with the image. And so this one's interesting. I think this is the orange that we have a lot of here in Tucson. But yeah, it's interesting looking back to see what the original parents were, and then moving on. That's a cool image. Bugs are in our food. Interesting. I'm gonna keep skipping. Oh, here's the article about Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, so it's Neil deGrasse Tyson interviewing Whoopi Goldberg, which is interesting. So we start up here, started in sci-fi. She won an Oscar for acting, a Tony for producing, a Grammy for a comedy album, a couple of Emmys, and played an alien on a Star Trek television series, which was raised on Star Trek, so it's always interesting. More Could She Desire? So then talking with Neil deGrasse Tyson, Tony, Oscar, Emmy, and Grammy. So now I'm just sort of reading through the article, looking at the question and answer that they have. It's talking about asteroids. Talking more about asteroids. And as you can see, I'm reading linearly. So I start at the top with the title and the little blurb here, and then I start at the beginning and I read through the interview, especially since that's sort of the way you have to read some interviews, at least doing them somewhat linearly. I could jump around from section to section, but oftentimes the question is connected to the answer, which is then connected to the following question. So it makes much more sense to read an interview like this linearly. And then there's Whoopi. And then it keeps going. So there she is in Star Trek, Next Generation. Still reading. Yeah. Yeah, so looking at some interesting things, reading linearly, or at least chronologically, not quite super linear. And, oh, big meerkat. Always reminds me of my cat. She likes to sit like that sometimes. So I think I'm going to pause my reading here. Oh, and now we're getting to the alcohol article, which is much longer, so not going to go there. But that was my offline reading reflection. Obviously, I'm going to go more in detail and look at some of the and analyze some of my reading techniques in the reflection paper. So I will leave it at that.